what a pleasure it is to welcome you to another Fumes for Friday session. This one has a special place because it's a dedication, and thank you so much for that, Elvira. You know from my background that being outside is in nature is such a great source of solace.
It
Even
really
if this
is.
is actually my laundry room and I can put my hands on both walls and you're sitting on the dryer here. So I'm really excited to hear more about what Elvira has to share with us tonight. And so without further ado, I'm gonna pass the mic.
Okay. So I'm able to share stuff then, right? Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to do it. Here we go. Hold on. I'm going to share my screen with you. All right. So let me move you guys over here. And here we go. And whoops. Here we go. All right. Can everybody see? This is our Throwback Thursday. And this is Jennifer Albritton. And dedicating this to her because she was the first person that I met at TBOP, and that was with my interview for TBOP in 2001. And she was the facilitator that year for Summer Institute. And then I worked with her with ice camps. She was the founder of the ice camps, and I worked with her in South Tampa. And what I think, if I had to sum up what her impact on my life was for her being able to take the most simple things and finding the story in it and getting you to satisfy your curiosity by getting you to look at the details of things. And so that really has changed my life as a writing teacher, being very aware of like word choice and taking the time to really spend time looking at things. So I'm coming at this as a participant because even though I love this lesson, I have never taught it before. And I'm going on the memory of my experience doing this with her 19 years ago. And so this is going to be kind of cool. And so why now? Why this lesson now? Well, I have a naturalist in my family, and her name is Heidi. She is my last child, and I'm an empty nester now. And so trying to stay connected with her, I go on these hikes with her. Now, this one picture here, she called me Saturday to say she was hiking barefoot in the Everglades and she was knee deep. And I was like, well, you realize, there's alligators. And she's like, oh, we're staying on the trails. I'm like, the alligators don't know that where the trails go, but she is just fearless, and she always likes to point things out. So I have become quite the collector on going out with my hikes with my daughter. And so my back porch, which is my solace, I keep all my little collections of things that I've come across. The latest one has been my little air plant here that the shells were little snail shells that we found when we were out walking in the swamps. And my granddaughters have gotten in on this. I have 3 little granddaughters, 1 7 and 2 a set of twins that are 5. And so they know that I collect things from the outside. So this is a butterfly that they found in their back porch that they made their mom, who doesn't like to touch anything and throws everything out, to save for me. And this is a little butterfly I found at Lowe's that I wrapped up in a receipt. It was in the little plant garden area. And so I keep a collection of field guides on my porch. And I even have like the Peterson's guides, which is for little people, where they could read them, and we try to identify things. So that has evolved over the years. And so as Dr. Shuri had asked for us to do a lesson, I was thinking about what was the most memorable lesson that I've ever done with Ice Camp. And it was probably the one with Jennifer on field notes. So I have adapted this from memory of what I enjoyed about it. It was probably one of my most favorite things. And as you can see, that it has been a big part of my life, because here I am. I hate clutter in my house, but you go on my back porch and there's all kinds of stuff that you're going to find that is from the outside. So let's get going. So I hope you guys have paper, because you're going to need paper and a pencil. We're going old school today because you're going to be doing a lot of things. So let's start with the first one. So does everybody have something with them that is like from nature, like a stone or a shell or something around that they could find? If you need to find something real quick, we can. But the first thing that I would like for you to do is to sketch your specimen. We're going to visually record observations. This is what this is about. When you go out into the field, you're finding things that are interesting. I don't limit it to I'm looking for anything particular. You just come, I pick things up. I would be a bad child to have out anywhere because I'm picking stuff up off the ground all the time looking, oh, what is this? So try to capture the shape of it, maybe the
I'll be
shape.
right back. I'm gonna go grab something real quick.
Okay, all right. I will give you a minute to do that. I want to stress that it is not about being art gallery ready. I would do stick everything if I was, given my druthers. So it's not about making it like it's art worthy as much as it is capturing what you're seeing. And if you're drawing, that you're more inclined to be looking for details, actual details on it, not just from memory, and some stuff that you might otherwise miss. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to draw, and maybe draw from different angles. Maybe do one that's like eye level, maybe one that's like side view. Turn it over, kind of really just examine it. See if you have any texture on it. Is it a solid color? There are dots on it. So I'm going to give you, let's say, I'm going to put my clock on here, 5 minutes to draw. And I would probably maybe just use up half the page for this. Big enough where you can see the details, but not like you're taking up the whole paper. I'll give you about 2 more minutes. If you want to do any shading or add any more detail to it. Okay, if you could kind of wrap that up. All right, the next thing that I would like for you to do is to add some words at this point. So maybe label your sketch with some simple descriptions. Think about maybe what it reminds you of. I was doing mine and I was doing a seed pod that I had, and I had put an arrow to where it said it was rounded on the top, almost like a spine. Anything parts of it, you know, hold it up to the light. Can you see through it? Make some notes on there if it is maybe hard on one side, smooth on the other, textured or whatever. Just you can draw some arrows to it or just put some notes off to the side. Maybe think about if you have any questions of, you know, how old might this be? Where might have been its natural habitat? That kind of thing. Any questions that you might have with it? What do you wonder about it? If you want to get adventurous, maybe smell it. Don't taste it. But maybe what does it smell like? Does it make a sound when you tap on it? What does that sound like? I'll give you about 2 more minutes to finish up any labels or notes you want to put around it. Okay, if you could wrap that up, and we're going to go down toward the bottom of the page. And this is where you get to write like a scientist. So what I'd like for you to do is to write a detailed description of your specimen. It's only going to be like a paragraph, a short paragraph, but you're going to maybe, how would you describe this so others would be able to identify it if they saw it out in the wild? Maybe the size, the shape, the color, any observations you made, such as the condition that you found it in, where you found it. And this is in revision where I think this would be really good, is to have your students come back and look up more precise words for like maybe color, smell. Is it really blue or is it cerulean? Or is it, the color solid or is it mottled? Just trying to up the vocabulary in it to be more precise, or even find the scientific names. One of the words that I found in just, going out into the woods is the word petrichor. I don't know how I missed it, but just that smell. There's a word for the smell of what the ground smells like after the first rain following a dry spell. So I just thought that was just really cool, petrichor. And then finding out that my air plant that I showed you a picture of is a tillandsia. And, I didn't look that up. My daughter happened to tell me that this is a tillandsia. Well, I went and looked up tillandsia and found out that it's part of the bromeliad family. So I could one up her later on. But I love this quote by John Laws. He's a researcher and a naturalist. And he says that when you're out in the field looking at stuff, take notes, ask questions, draw pictures, but then come back to look up, precisely like, what the scientific name is. And then this journal will become a first person account of not what you witnessed or experienced, but also what you learned. And I thought that's really cool for, kids to really get out there in their environment, even if it's their backyard, to, sketch some things out and then trying to, come back and figure out what they are. There's so much more of a connection there. So I'll give you 5 minutes on this just to write, like I said, a short paragraph of how would you describe this so others could identify it. Okay. Okay, I'll give you about 2 more minutes to wrap this up. My phone beeped and told me it was time to go to bed. Okay, if you could wrap it up and we'll finish this part up. If you were doing this for just say a science class, I'm just, as we go through this, I'm just thinking along of how this could be used in the classroom. I thought this would be kind of fun instead of just kids having to read about it in a book. If they found a leaf or something that you were actually studying, that they could draw it out and do all the parts and then do the field guide part. But this next part is my favorite part of it, because this is where curiosity meets creativity. And that is with the actual journaling, where we're using the other side of the brain now, where we had gone from things that could be measured and observed to now, how do you feel about it? What were the emotions associated with this encounter in nature? And, you know, what are those things that you wonder about, where your curiosity comes in? As I was looking into this, I thought it was interesting how many journalists, once they do all the data, they'll also include some kind of a poem, a haiku, or maybe a story associated with it. And I thought that was kind of cool. So what I'd like for you to do on this last part is, what does your specimen inspire in you? We did haikus with Eric last week. Maybe it's a personal reflection. Maybe it reminds you of something from childhood, or a story comes to mind about maybe, you know, if it's a feather, you know, where's the bird where it hasn't migrated now? I like this quote from Susan Sontag that says, "A writer, I think, is someone who pays attention to the world." Again, thinking on those details and reflecting on, now that we've, you know, I've looked at this, how do I feel about it? So I'm going to give you a little bit of time to kind of think about your specimen and have a moment with it, if you will. And then we'll see if anyone wants to share either their field guide or their picture or whatever they come up with in the journaling part of it. So I'll give you about 5 minutes and we'll come back. Also, you might want to use some of the words from your field guide portion of it, just to make this a little bit maybe authentic with the word choice, like especially if you're using scientific names, or even just more interesting with the scientific names or things that you wrote about it that are, you know, nonfiction. I'll give you 2 minutes to kind of get a little bit further in this and wrap it up. Okay, if we can kind of wrap it up here. Does anyone want to share anything that they've written? Don't everybody jump at once.
I'll share mine if you want.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, does somebody talk? Okay. Because I don't know if this is, I'm getting somewhere deep or if it's just stupid because it's Thursday night and I'm really tired.
No apologies.
This is the fumiest I've ever felt on a Thursday, I think. Okay, here we go. Oh, first of all, I should show you this. So this is a small conch. Elvira and I are teaching Lord of the Flies right now. And I don't have a big one. This is all I have. So I always take this to school and show the kids because they don't have, a lot of them don't have any idea what a conch is. So, all right, here we go. Bones last beyond flesh. The invertebrates understand this. A conch has to scavenge for his bones since he has none. He finds a spiny ecru shell, porous yet strong, the perfect defense from attacks. He knows without bones, life would be short. And yet we humans, with our ability to think and with our opposable thumbs, keep our bones on the inside.
Wow, love the word choice on that. Very nice.
Yeah, that was some edits.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't first draft.
Cool. Anyone else?
I'll share. I mean, it's not the best thing I've ever done, but okay. So this is my inspiration. Oh, I'm terrible at putting things in the camera. I'll just tell you, even though I've been, I also teach distance learning. I'm still not good at this. So this is a rock that my daughter and I found in, in a river bed. And then she painted it, during COVID. So it's called basalt river rock, which I'm probably not pronouncing right. Smooth sides reveal a 900-degree birth from lava. Basalt hardens, inspiring new life. Black, shiny, almost perfectly round, watered down, but brilliant, shining. Speckled gold dots indicates another transformation. Painter's vision. Hope from nature creates a new life for friends sheltered inside.
Oh, I like that. Good.
We had a youngin join us who'd like to share.
Oh, okay.
Wait, you gotta show what it is. Go ahead and talk nice and loud.
Pineapple and a coffee mug.
Oh, okay.
And so mine is, it makes me feel like I am in the jungle, and there is pineapples in the jungle. In the top of the in the top middle of the pineapple, there is a pointy part that hurts, and it is striking up at a little. Standing tall, if standing tall, defending itself from animals and humans.
Oh, that's great word choice on that too. Yay.
He looks like about the age that Jennifer would have taught. She always took the elementary kids, you know? That's so sweet.
That's sweet. That's a great way to honor her. Very
Thank
nice.
you for letting us crash the Zoom. I'll read mine because
Okay.
it's about the same one. My first attempt at growing a pineapple from its top yielded a small golden jewel. Harvest, eat, repeat. You were my first vegetational grandchild. You took root immediately, knowing that you came from a strong family, and spawning new leaves and stretching out from all angles, trying to touch the world. You're still small, but I can tell you're mighty, ready to be transplanted from one small ceramic mug into a new home where you will live and grow and produce and continue to harvest. Harvest, eat, repeat.
That's great. What I like, the difference between the field guide and the journal, it's like you get to know them in the field guide, but now you have a relationship with them in the journal. And if I was thinking, when you have students do that, even in a science class, adding that journaling part of it, you have that connection that you go to ask them questions about it. They'll know about their specimen because they've made that personal connection with it. And I think that's incredible. Anybody else want to share?
I will.
Okay.
So here's this.
Okay, scallop. Very nice.
It slipped into my palm like a lover takes your hand, this shell, joining me at the edge of a rocky cliff where the wind is indistinguishable from sea salt spray. Its rough radial fingers found mine, calloused knuckles wet with waves or tears. Beneath the shell, an unexpected yellow brightness, like an oil paint halo or an egg cracked open, brilliant in its brokenness.
Wow. Very nice. Well, I'd like to show you some examples that different ways that you can do this. So let me shoot up here. Hold on a second. Of course, my technology is not going to work here. Here we go. So here are some examples. And this one at the lower right, this is actually from Lewis and Clark Journal. And interesting enough, they wrote every single day that they were out, and they drew every single day. And the descriptions that they made of fish and whatever it was just really gave so much information on when, the exploration of the West. This one at the top on the right is someone doing a field guide for their backyard bird watching. And I thought that was kind of interesting that they describe where they saw it, and then they put little, like a key to where, if it was from the forest or whatever. And this one down here was really, this looked like it was like for a science class. And one of the details that it almost sounded poetic to me was, it says, the leaf is slightly shinier, almost metallic where it is decaying. And I thought, wow, that's such beautiful language. You could take things from the actual diagram and maybe make that into a poem. I thought that was really kind of cool. And then this one here someone is an excellent artist. That would never, I'd love to draw a snail like that myself. But I just thought it was interesting that they found some empty shells in the yard, and they were kind of wondering, what happened to the snail, who eats it, birds, and they put questions on there. So this is their journal of where they're keeping of things that they find out. And this is probably my favorite one. This is a kid that went out in the backyard and just wrote about everything they saw. And this one here was just a great I wonder question. It says, roses in my neighbor's garden. I wonder why they chose red. And I thought, just being aware of the little things that you would miss just running around the backyard, but just stopping to take note of it. So I could see if you were just doing this for kids just to, be aware of things in their yard, being more observant is a great observing lesson. Or even for if you were going to do science, what a great way to add that personal connection with having a relationship with it now. Now it's not just going to be short-term memory. You remember the connection to it. So I would love to teach this. I don't know how I'm going to, but hopefully this gives you some different options for whatever grade level or subject that you teach. That would be helpful, or even for a personal hobby. That is my goal. Is I bought a little notebook. You can buy them sketchbooks at Walmart for like $1.50. And so it is my goal that with all these little specimens that I've been collecting from going out with Heidi, that I'm going to keep a journal of them and what my connection, why did I pick them? There had to be a reason why I took it out of the wilderness with me and brought them home. So they deserve to be chronicled. So I hope you enjoyed it.
This is really great. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Jennifer, for the idea. And, having that relation, I remembered 19 years later what we did. So it is one of those things that kids will have a connection with for sure.
Yes, thank you for bringing her back.
Mm-hmm.
And I love just that. I was just thinking the other day that, we're in a classroom, you'd have to really sort of plan ahead like you did and say, bring something with you. And then people have to think, well, okay, do I want to take the risk to bring my special shell into school or something like that?
I'm glad you brought that up. You know what Jennifer did? She had a Rubbermaid filled with specimens that the kids got to choose from, and they didn't know what they were. So that added another element to it. They're not familiar with it. And so they had to think about what might this be. And so
Yes.
that is something that you could just have a collection of things that you don't care, Kathy and I collect shells for a shell activity that we do of scallop shells. We have a friend that goes scalloping, and we have like hundreds of them. And so the kids break them, who cares, accidentally breaking them.
And I just love that now we don't have to worry about that quite so much, maybe, because if somebody's joining online or, if you're doing this virtually, they might have it to hand or, or if they're even if they're at home, you could send them outside to go find something. And, so even if for distance learning, this seems like it would work really well. And just the idea that you could get people outside, or get them to bring something from the wilderness into the classroom is just so lovely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And we finished on time. Yes.
Thank you so much, Elvira, for creating this moment for us. And thanks to all of you for making the time to be here tonight.
For sure.
And we will share this video in a follow-up email, and in that same email, as we've done the last couple times, we'll ask for your feedback and your suggestions for future sessions. We're doing this about every 2 weeks now, so you can expect another installment in just a fortnight. And if you are thinking madly out there about a lesson that you'd like to do, please get in touch. We'd love to keep this wonderful series going, and it's been I know it's been a lifeline for me. So I'm so appreciative and looking forward to more. Thanks,
Good night,
folks.
everybody.
Have a good night.